along, of course, many of students from Manipur universities and other colleges who are women and had to go to the traumatic phase of this violence. All these women, are to gain education, proper education. Most of them are research scholars. And such even an incidence is hindering the very aspects of our constitution that give rights for education to the daughters, to the sons, to the children of this nation. And I would like to bring into your attention another sister, there is Sister Betty, who has been voicing out for the cause of the Kuki women, and an FIR was launched against her as well. And following with the same happened to Sister Mary, who had taken the courage to bring up the truth to the world, and an FIR was launched against her as well. In such condition, the gravity of our situation has made one truth really clear: to safeguard our people, our women, and our contribution to the nation, we need separate administration. And here, on the final step, I would like to bring the victims, the family members, the communities, the entire Kuki community seek justice and accountability from the government. Give us report of what steps were taken to ensure this justice. Update us on the status of the case or investigation done by the investigative authorities. Because from the beginning, I'm very aware that in respect to the Kuki women, many of the women commissions, many reporters, many prominent media has reached Manipur by hook or by crook or by any means they could. But till today, we haven't gotten any report of it, and no result and no action has been taken over it. So we seek for an update on this legal status, and we would like to know how many accused persons are arrested. Since we all know the viral video, in this viral video a perpetrator was arrested, but where is he now? What is the condition of all of them? It wasn't just one person, there were many of it. At the same time, we heard about the two sisters who were walking in the car park. And have we ever heard about which situation is the case going on? And the two sisters who were pursuing nursing, where is the case? My friend here, my co-panelist, Sister Tim, told me about the situation of the nursing student. And we have the FIR dated back to August 2023. But where is it now? Where is the case now? We want to know. Give us this answer, because we deserve as a citizen of this country. And we would like to know, are they enlarged on bail? Where are these people? Where are these perpetrators? And the third point, do the victim family member have access to public prosecutor? Some of them has, but has this prosecutor did their work? Why is the case unheard, and where is the case now? And we will also like to know how many of the victims, especially the rape victim, statement has been recorded by the court. And if yes, where is the case and what is happening at the moment? Give us update on that. How long will the victim family have to wait for justice? While the world look up to us, where the position that we stand today is not up to the par of the promises that is laid down by the government.
As a psychologist, what I would say is the unprocessed emotions would come back to that person at some point of time later in life. And also I want to talk about what happens of the psyche or the person, the rapist thinks about the victim when they set out to rape. A rapist would always assume, at least, that the victim is helpless at that point of time. Means a rapist would not rape a person when the person is around people, or when other people are around. They would wait for that opportunity where they can carry out their act, because they know that at that point of time a person is helpless. So they wait for that time when a person would have no one to help them. So they also assume that the consequences of their act would be less severe or would not be found out. So that is the case in our state, in Manipur of what happened to our women too. Those people who committed the crime must have assumed that their actions would not have consequences. They thought that we're helpless, or maybe we were helpless at that point of time. So this brings out the fact that we are considered weaker, they are considered superior, and so they thought they could harm us. They paraded us naked, fondled us, outraged our modesty of our women, and raped them in public. And they thought they could get away with it because they thought they have support. And which is quite evident till now, because justice is not served. We are all victims here. By hearing the stories itself, we have secondary trauma. And so the trauma that we're going to carry forward, not me myself, just as a woman, but the other people as a community, that's the pain that we'll be carrying forward throughout our lives. So this takes me to my concluding remark that we don't feel safe anymore. We cannot go back to the place where our homes and properties no longer stand. Sometimes people make blunt statements saying, what if the government made resettlement provisions for you all? Would you go back? I want to ask instead, where are we to go back where our homes and properties are already burnt to ashes long back? Where do we go now? How do we go back to the people who have killed us and butchered us and leaving the remaining in a sorry state of terror? What about the generational psychological trauma that are already taking roots? How can we now live without fear? This is why our call for separation from our perpetrators is the need of the hour, because if this is granted to us, our fundamental rights to live with dignity, which have been stripped away from us, will be restored. And this may give us a ray of hope and healing from the atrocities that we went through and are still going through at the moment. Thank you.
Helplessness and the pain that they must have gone through. एक भारतीय होने के नाते मैं आज सभी भारतीयों से एक प्रश्न पूछना चाहती हूँ कि यदि अगर आपकी खुद की माँ, बहन, बेटी, सहेली, सखी या कोई भी रिश्तेदार होता तो आप क्या आज भी ये चुप्पी कायम रखते? क्या कुकी जो महिलाएं इस देश की बेटियां नहीं हैं? जो देश अपनी बेटियों को सम्मान, इज्जत और जिस देश में देवियों को पूजा जाता है, उस देश में क्या ये सब होना शर्मनाक नहीं है?
I stand before you today as a representative of the countless Kuki-Zo tribal women whose lives have been forever altered by the devastating effects of war. As a panelist, I am honored to share our stories, amplify our voices, and shed light on the often overlooked struggles we have faced. War knows no boundaries, but its impact on Kuki-Zo tribal women is uniquely cruel. We are victims of sexual violence, forced displacement, and unimaginable loss. Our bodies are battlefields, our families torn apart, and our futures uncertain. Today we gather to confront the harsh realities of war's aftermath. We will discuss the systematic barriers that prevent Kuki-Zo tribal women from accessing justice, healthcare, and economic empowerment. We will highlight the resilience and courage of women who, despite unimaginable trauma, continue to rebuild their lives and communities. Every Kuki-Zo tribal woman present here today within these four walls, sitting beside you, has a story to tell. As we share these stories, I urge you to remember that behind every statistics, every news headlines, there is a Kuki-Zo woman, a family, a community struggling to survive. Our voices must be heard, our experiences validated, and our rights protected. Through our discussion, we will aim to raise awareness about the gendered impact of war, advocate for policies supporting Kuki-Zo women's empowerment, amplify survivors' voices and stories, which is the sole purpose of our gathering here today. I am proud to stand alongside my fellow panelists experts, and leaders who share my commitment to this critical cause. Today we will ensure that the world listens, the country will listen, and that Kuki-Zo tribal women victims of war receive the justice, support, and dignity we deserve. Now moving on to few stories of Kuki-Zo women who fell victims to the war. In early hours of 4th May 2023, P. Vainem, an 80-year-old woman who was bedbound by old age. She couldn't hear, she couldn't speak anymore, but she was bedbound. Her two daughters, Helam and Hakim, living with their old mother, they were killed on their front porch by the radical youths around by Tengol and Mitay Lipun. Hakim and Helam pleaded for their lives and also to spare their mother who was already sick and bedbound. But without any mercy, they were slashed with a sharp weapon on their head and throat after being beaten brutally. Both died right on the spot on the front yard. Upon hearing the screams and noises outside, P. Vainem, the mother, ran outside, and before she knew what was going on, the radical youths hit her on the head and she fell to the ground on the front door of their house. Their bodies were picked up around 3 p.m. by the police. Moving on to the story of Olivia in Florence. Olivia Tongloy and Florence Hangsing worked at Gama Car Wash at Konung Mamang, a business owned by a Métis named Mr. Samorjit Ningtoza. On May 5, 2023, Métis miscreants and mob, including women, forcibly silenced them by gagging, confined them in a locked room for 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. They were gang raped and tragically succumbed to the unimaginable brutality inflicted upon them. When the room where they were captured was finally opened, it was discovered filled with a horrifying mixture of victims' blood and hair. Another story is one such. Mistress Gozovung, herself, her son, her whole family, including her daughter and daughter-in-law, were attacked while they were on their way to the army camp to seek refuge. Mistress Gozovung, the Under Secretary of Agriculture and Veterinary Department at the Manipur Secretariat, was forcibly removed from her vehicle by a mob of Métis individuals. The assailants subsequently assaulted her and her son, Mr. Golal Sang, resulting in their tragic deaths. Another story is of Miss Nya Hoi Ching. When she rushed towards the scene at a confrontation between armed forces and civilians, upon her arrival, the armed forces began to fire blank shots indiscriminately at civilians. Tragically, she was struck by a live bullet and succumbed to her injuries at the location, which was in front of Hotel Venus on Tigim Road, New Lamka. One thing I would like to add about her story was that she was tremendously questioning the forces on ground. If we are helping the women, the Métis women, to escape from this place where we are in Lamka, why are the women in Imphal killed? Why are our Kuki-Zo women tribals are killed in Imphal while we are helping the Métis escape from here? That was what she was questioning, and in between that, the bullet struck her and she passed away.